Hi, so today we're going to be talking about bone cells and their functions and, most importantly, their lineages. So, what I'm going to do, first I'm going to draw some bone. So that's a piece of bone over here. It's kind of irregular looking. Here, let me just... Yeah, so that's the... I can do better than that, actually. Yeah, so that's going to be my shot at drawing this bone. So, if I were to just zoom in on inside of this bone, so if I were to zoom in, you'd see a lot of different cells in here, just doing their thing. I'm not going to draw too many of them. Right, I'm not going to draw too many of them because I don't want you to get confused with all of these, with all the different. If I draw a bunch of cells, bunch of different things, so I wouldn't want you to get confused. So. Right, so these are just some of the different cells that would be in here. So we have so the first type of cell I'm going to talk about is an osteoprogenitor cell. Osteoprogenitor. So basically, these are just the immature version of a bone builder cell. I'm going to write BB for bone builder. And then the next type of cell we have is an osteoblast. As you can guess, they are bone builder cells. So again, I'll write BB for bone builder. And there are immature osteocytes. Osteocyte. And what an osteocyte does is it regulates bone matrix. Regulates I'm going to write BM for bone matrix. Bone matrix. And then we have an osteoclast. Osteoclast. And they are basically bone destroyers. I'll write BD for bone destroyers. Bone destroyer cell. And so, now that you know the functions of the four main bone cells, let me tell you about their origin. Let me get some space over here. Actually, I'll leave that here for you. So, actually I'll get rid of it. Give me 1 second here. Right. Okay. So now there's different what's it called? You know, there are different like ways that these different cells can come from, like osteoclasts and osteoblasts are a whole nother different lineage. Okay, so but because let me start by explaining the what's it called, the osteoblast, osteocyte, osteoprogenitor lineage. So this cell, this lineage comes from basically a lineage of stem cells, which is called the mesenchymal stem cell. I may or may not be spelling that right. I'll write ST for stem cell. STC for stem cell. Mesenchymal stem cell. Now, these mesenchymal stem cells can differentiate, using your asymmetric division. One becomes a backup stem cell, and the other is ready to become differentiated and all. But the mesenchymal stem cell then becomes an osteoprogenitor cell. Whoops, that was in circle to one. An osteoprogenitor cell. I'm not going to write it in now because you know what it does and what it is. And these osteoprogenitor cells they differentiate into osteoblasts. Let me write that down actually. So we have an osteoprogenitor and then we have an osteoblast, and now these osteoblasts have secreted their bone matrix. They become osteocytes. Which once again regulates the bone matrix. Maybe write that down. Osteocyte. Now, I'm going to pause the video and I will be back. I'm going to try to find a relative picture that can help with the lineage of osteoclast, because it's actually quite cool how they're from a whole different lineage, but they all work together for this. So yeah, let me pause the video and yeah. So right, so the osteoclasts, what happens is they come from a stem cell. So they actually are part of the blood cell lineage. So, and the blood cell lineage is, common stem cell is called the hematopoietic stem cell, as I've written up here. So now for for the osteoclast lineage, we don't need to worry about this lineage at all here. Don't need to worry about this. That's called the lymphoid lineage. Nor do we need to worry about this here. However, what we should be caring about is this cell right here, which is called a myeloblast. So, myeloblast. Let me label that. I'll use this nice blue color. Myeloblast. And this, one of the things that the myeloblast differentiates into is a monocyte, which I've labeled right here. And these monocytes, you might know that they differentiate. So you might know that these are immune cells. So, and if they're immune cells, then it works for the immune system. And you might know that these monocytes actually also differentiate into macrophages. So macrophage. If you'd like, I'll get into what's it called? I'll get into what the blood cell lineage in another video. So these monocytes differentiate into macrophages. Because it's that's part of the lineage. A macrophage is another one of those immune cells that like to gobble up on stuff. But something I found interesting is that the monocyte can also become an osteoclast. And how does this happen, you might be wondering? What happens is pretty much these monocytes fuse together. Multiple monocytes fuse together. Because remember, osteoclasts are large and multinucleated. Okay? So they'd be having multiple nucleuses. And that would only be possible if multiple cells fuse together. Well, that's one way of it being possible. So let me write that down. Osteoclast. And it's kind of mind-boggling, that an osteoclast comes from the fusing of multiple monocytes. Just in case you would like, image credit is over here for what I'm highlighting with my mouse. It's bit.ly/2 and then a capital M, capital B, capital I, capital F, lowercase h, and then the number 7. Just in case you wanted to know, that's the image credit. So, why these cells might be useful. Let me just cut up some of that space here. Let me just cut up some space. Yeah, so one reason it might be useful, these cells are useful, is because of the fact that, let's say you have this piece of bone here. And let's say you fracture it, and now the bone looks something like you bent it in an awkward angle. So the bone looks something like this now. So what osteoclasts are going to do, they are going to, they're going to take, so what they're going to do, they're going to take the bone and they're going to basically cut this part off. Take this part off. I'm going to take that part off. They're going to take that part off. And then they're going to call for the osteoblasts. Remember, B and blast for bone builder. So then the osteoclasts are going to break that up. So you go from this to this because of osteoclast. And then the bone builders, the osteoblasts. Now what they're going to do, they're going to use that bone, the same bone that was broken by the osteoclast. That same bone. That same bone. That same piece of bone. That same piece of bone. That same bone amount that they broke, they're going to take it and just build like this. Now, obviously, I could have drawn a better visualization of that. Like, for example, the osteoclasts are probably going to have broken this part too. They're going to have broken that. And then the osteoblasts, they are just going to take that bone that was broken and reuse it. I can do better than that. Line tool. And then just build it back again. And then, good as new. We have good as new bone. So that's one fundamental part of the, osteoclasts and osteoblasts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And subscribe to the channel. Press the like button so I know that you appreciate the content. And learn on, everybody. Bye, guys.